Before I hit record, a while, days ahead of time, I'll be sitting at some point and I think of like, what do I want to talk about on the show this week? And you know, uh, my mind always kind of goes into comedy, even though I'm not a comedian. It's I should lighten the mood and be kind of funny or something, right? But most people that are funny, especially if you're 40 and single, you should talk about dating. And I'm not just trying to talk about that for the sake of trying to be relatable or funny. Oh, yeah, let's talk about dating. Dating in 2024 at almost 40 years old. That's probably something that would be full of all sorts of funny follies, but I would have no idea. I haven't dated in like over 10 years. And this is my life, people. That doesn't mean that I haven't been on dating apps. I've been on dating apps for a long time. And so this is a bit what I guess I was started venting to myself. And I don't know if this is something I want to talk about on here or not. This might be too, really, it could be too embarrassing, but I guess I don't get embarrassed. I just don't care enough to get embarrassed anymore. So maybe that's because listen, okay, I've been on dating apps for years. I've tried them out, whatever. I've spoken to a couple of women, but this is how bad it is for me. I don't know if it's luck, if it's bad luck, or if it's my face, what it is. But to put this in perspective for you, the first time I was on any dating site, I don't remember which one it was, but it wasn't like a difficult one or anything. Like it was free. So, but I'm not, if you've been listening to the show, I'm not the smartest guy. And, I'm a little older, I guess, tech, I had to learn it as it came along. But anyway, so I'm on I make up my dating profile and everything, and it's showing me pictures of single women in my area, which apparently extends to Canada and Pennsylvania, never Ohio. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm going through pictures of these women. Now, at this time, I had no idea how dating apps work. And I did not know anything about swipe left, swipe right shit, right? But I did at the bottom of the site. It has like a like a heart or whatever on the right side at the bottom of the screen. And then it's got like a thumbs down or X or whatever on the other side. So you can tap the heart or the X or whatever to like or dislike the person, right? Well, I thought, I just assumed, and I guess, yeah, go ahead, call me stupid, but I just assumed that in order to like or dislike one of the photos, you had to tap the heart or the X. Okay, and then I assumed swiping, no matter which direction this was, it just takes you to the next photo. That was my initial perception of this, right? So I'm just swiping, and I guess naturally I'm swiping right. Okay? I did this for probably at least like 6 weeks before I knew that every time I was swiping right, I was dumping this person's picture into the heart. I was sending them a like. I didn't realize that. Okay? I wasn't obsessively on the site, but I was on it enough for like at least like, maybe an accumulative hour, 2 hours a day or something like that, between being on the toilet or watching TV or whatever. So, and you go through a lot of pictures. There's a lot of people in my area, which again extends borders. So, I liked probably, if I had to guess, I would say between 3,000 to 6,000 different women. I gave them all likes, and these were not, and I'm not trying to be like of course there were some I pressed the heart on intentionally, of course, but I see I'm too nice and I didn't want to hit an X. So I just thought I was just passing through them, like, oh, no, thanks, I'll look later, or pass them to the bottom of the pile or something. because I don't want to be rude and hit don't like because I'm stupid and I don't know how that works, or I didn't. So So my point is, I spent a month and a half liking all sorts of, women that, and I'm not trying, but a lot of 58-year-old clearly drunk, and I'm not trying to insult anybody in age or anything or your habits, but I was like, hey, it's time to be in a serious relationship. I haven't actually been in one of them really in a long time, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to be somewhat, not picky, but have some standards for once in my life, So I'm sorry, there's some very careless-looking women on the wide world of dating, and so I liked 6,000 different women over 6 weeks. I got 0 matches. So that's what the point of this was. What I'm telling you, like this is my life. This is not like a joke I'm trying to write. Going, oh, my dating sucks so much, dude. What am I doing wrong? My profile I thought was fine, And I listened to a friend of mine, and I was like, all right. So I knew kind of what types of pictures, Okay, I'm a writer. I think I had a clever kind of bio, I'm like, what is it? So anyway, I don't. Like I said, I should be. I might not even put this on the show. I might just be too embarrassed when I listen back to it. But I doubt that because like I said, I'm not embarrassed about anything. I don't care about this. Because my sex drive is just diminished. I try to compare my sex drive, and what I thought of was, and this isn't to say, don't get me wrong. If I'm engaged in the act, then yeah, of course, and I get back to how I've been most of my adult life, but the drive to go find a partner, and I'm not driven by the sexual factor. I'm just not, I don't care. If I don't have a woman turning me on, then I'm not getting aroused. So I'm like, I don't care. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's normal for a 39-year-old man. Otherwise healthy. Well, sort of. I'm kind of out of shape, but whatever. Anyway, hey, this is a journal, people. If you're listening to this is journalism. You are listening to a guy journaling. So, dear diary, I'm fat and no women like me. So anyway, I have the sex drive of a little old lady. That's not normal. My mother thinks it is. Of an open conversation. We have a good relationship.
I'm perfectly happy alone, too. I love just being alone, me and my cats. It's perfectly fine, Bill.
Is it? I'm a 40-year-old man. Not even. Still 39. A few more months. And is that normal? I kind of doubt it. But it's the same level of ambition to go find a partner. My mother, she's done. She's like, yeah, she was married, she's divorced, she's done. She doesn't care. That's great, and I'm envious of it. I'm almost like, man, I wish I had that 72-year-old lady excuse to just sit around, just fuck off everybody, play with a couple of animals, and watch the television or something. But no, I gotta put on this charade. I gotta put on this show for another, 30 years. And it's, point is, I'm not driven to go find a woman or anything. I don't really seem to care about it, But anyway, so I was saying, I kind of compare my sex drive to, you ever see the porn? There's certain porn. There's a genre of it called free use. And basically, if you're not familiar, This is like a porn scenario where there's, there'll be a woman, she's washing the dishes, and I don't know, she'll have a friend over who's like standing in the kitchen with her, making breakfast, making coffee or something, and reading a magazine and talking. And then a guy will just come in and he'll just pull down the woman's pants and just start going to town while she's washing the dishes. And she is completely disinterested, like does not care about it at all. Like she's just like, and still talking like, I'm going to go to Macy's, talking to her friend. And, that looks like the sweater I want is 20% off. And then, but it's not like the guy's back there like, yeah, he's very disinterested as well. He's just like, when you go, and he's having sex, it's like, when you're out, go pick up coffee filters or whatever. And they're just, and the person who's in the room with them is she's just reading a magazine. Like this is the house I live in. This is what goes on here. This is what we do. Like this is just normal. So my point is my sex drive is like the equivalent of that genre. I don't watch it. I'm completely disinterested. I think the first time I ever saw that genre, I mean, I'm sitting there watching pornography, and I just shut it off and made a sandwich. Like I didn't care about, this is the equivalent. So I don't know if that's funny or not, but anyway, I don't want to. This show is not going into a whole deep alleyway of perversion, people. I'm not going to take you back down into the gutter. But that's what I've always done on this show, though, right? Bring you into the gutter with me, drag you down, and then I'm going to raise your spirits by the end of this fucking thing, people. I promise to stick around. Welcome to the Bill Mullane Show.
Oh my good gosh damn, I gotta go. Oh my good gosh damn, no, I don't know. Oh my good gosh damn, I gotta go. Oh my good gosh damn, no, I don't know. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my.
Oh, welcome in, people, to the Bill Mullane Show, episode 27, dripping with toxic masculinity from the start. And obviously, I have an immense amount of respect for women, and I'm raising a little girl. And I'm not meaning to jump into all of this, but this episode will probably be, it is. It's going to be focused on gender, because that's what is all of a sudden entered my life. Listen, all right? If you're listening, if you're a long-time listener of the Bill Mullane Show now, which would have consumed most of your life this year, I suppose, since May, I kind of work this now off of whatever it comes throughout the week or into my life of some sort, and not to blow up my niece. I have a niece. She's turning 20 this year. She's in college, nursing student. She has a philosophy course, so. This plays off of last week, It comes off of because she reaches out to me. She asks me, toss me a few bucks to basically do her homework, but she's going for nursing. She didn't necessarily know, the most about philosophy. Although this was ethics based, so I go, should I do this? What kind of ethics am I employing here? But it wasn't doing her homework for her. She needed help with the paper because I'm always getting intoxicated and texting her philosophical advice at 2 a.m. Listen, follow your passion. But anyway, she asked me to help her out, and I do. And the paper that she needs help with is taking a utilitarian point of view on an issue of hormone testing in sports, which the argument is on the side of, yes, it's ethical and it's fine. And I'm not going to get into that whole argument, but it brought up the transgender issue. Obviously, that becomes a debate. And so when I was putting together the show this morning, I was getting things started, I go to my emails, and I got an email from Medium. As you should know, you read my if you're loyal to my blog there, you've read it, you've been enlightened by my words of wisdom for a while now. But I get emails from them, and the one here was, I don't know why, but it's deepening the understanding about trans misogyny. I didn't realize there was a word for it, for just hating on trans people. I open my email and I have this. I go, well, I guess this is the topic of at least a good chunk of this show today because, look, it should be addressed. I guess it is an enormous thing in today's culture. And it is, the idea that I want my daughter who's biracial and a little tomboyish, and these things to just be embraced by an all-encompassing, opening, loving world. I mean, of course, oh, yes, I got those silly pipe dreams for my kid. I want her to grow up in a world not feeling judged by, maybe she doesn't always feel like the most girly girl in the world, in the frilly dresses and all that. She was never fit in with those kids. I never wanted her feeling like, outcast because the world is full of amazing, beautiful people. And unfortunately, it's still crazy to me that transgender is even a thing. Like, I mean, and this might be, I don't hope it doesn't sound, hateful. Because I have nothing against transgendered people. But I don't think of it as an issue, and does that sound careless and mean? It's like, well, of course you don't, Bill. You're in your little world over there. Oh, your daughter's a tomboy. You're not worried about transgendered people, though. No, I'm not. But I don't think it's an isolation away from, the effects of these things because I don't live with transgendered people or I'm not one. But I think it's more because the issue is so much deeper. But all serious issues, when you really get to them and boil them down from certain points of view, such as the one I maintain, the answers always come down to this is just kind of silly. But what I mean by that is the problem is there's no solution with the transgender inequality and trans misogyny. According to the thing here was 300. Now these aren't the most devastating numbers when you look into war and different things, but 350 trans people that were murdered globally in 2024. If you're being murdered for being transgendered, then one is too many. Think about that. Think of how indoctrinated a mind must be to actively hate someone because they have because that person's not happy with their genitalia and their inner feelings. I understand it's not just about the genitalia. It's all the mannerisms and everything else that goes into being one gender or the other. But why would you be concerned with another person's identity so much that you would murder them? I mean, think about that. And then don't even go as far as murder, just hate. Why would you spend time hating something like that? So think about that. If you're listening to this and you're one of those people who are just like, I just don't like those fucking transgenders, man. Not gonna walk around telling me you don't like your dick, all right? You gonna go cut your dick off? I'll cut your fucking throat. I mean, if you're thinking like that, then you gotta stop and take a breath and think about yourself and what it is inside. And this is the answer. And I know this. Oh, here goes Bill into wishy-washy bullshit. But no, man. Because what are your options? You think there's a policy that you're going to put in place? You think there's government laws we're going to create? Look, people, murder is illegal. Okay? Oh, we have a special place in hell for hate crimes. Whatever. It's illegal. So that's not stopping it. Okay? So you got to go into the heart of this. Like I said. You can go into all serious issues, really, with this mindset. But you can go into the heart of it. It starts in the individual. So, okay, how do we attack this? You can, to make any concrete changes in society, in the operation of humanity, starts on an individual level. Let's go deeper than that and explore that. Because what am I talking about? It happens on the inside. It starts on the inside. It's all on the inside. What you do, from my understanding of this subject, is you never actually change any world. You are shifting yourself to match the existence of a world in which things are more aligned with your preferences. This is ancient metaphysics and the mechanics of what you're actually doing. So I'm living in a world in which this hate and misogyny or trans misogyny still continues to occur. Why am I choosing to buy into that experience and still believe in this? Well, we have a collective history that we agree upon, and the world I'm experiencing and collective history I'm experiencing has been dominated by power for centuries, for eons, I think, right? I gotta double check eons. I always want to say eons, but probably wrong, like I usually am. Why are you listening to me? But I believe that females used to control everything. And I'm talking about the collective version of the history of humanity. Humanity at first was governed by the queen bee, the woman in the, I guess I just picture like, the lady being catered to and tended to in the cave, while the men ran around like, you're not fucking her, and killing each other over the woman that they were protecting in their cave, and going and getting the food, and we did that. And then after like just many, many years, maybe after the alien intervention that manipulated our genes and created human as we know it, we realized with a little tweak of intelligence, we realized I could just beat the shit out of this lady. So they started doing that, and we just reversed it into all of this. Now, I think this has been said before. I'm not saying this is my original theory. This is just a theory that maybe I heard, maybe I thought of. I don't really know. Can't tell you. I don't look things up when I talk them on this show. I do a lot of research in my personal life and whatever, and for work. But I don't do any of that for the show. I just say stuff, and then I go, I hope that's not, so-and-so's material, or somebody said that already, and I'm calling it my own. Anyway, the point of what I'm saying there is men eventually realized that we could beat up women, and so we created a male-dominated society governed through the church, which was the original government. And so you got a bunch of men controlling the idea of organized religion, which, was overcoming, any sort of metaphysical and philosophical discussions of the day. Science was overtaking, and the church was stepping in to go, you're going to go to hell. And so they just started creating everything that they could to keep power in place. And that requires masculinity. Strong men. That's what that requires. So we said, kill the gay people, because they're not strong-looking men. Come on, we can't be doing that. But, I don't know. It's crazy, because some of the gayest people on the planet are big, buff dudes. So, I don't know. A lot of it, doesn't make sense to me. Am I being ignorant again? The gay buff guys? Am I? I don't know. But I tell you, the part where it all boils down to funny to me, and is because, one, I'm coming from, again, people, no place of, judgment or anger toward anybody. I love the fact that people come in all sorts of crazy ways. The fact that there's transgendered and all sorts of different colored people and all that shit. Like, it's great. It's just like fun. I see life as like this like free for all. Everybody has to be a unique piece. And of course, sexuality after a while will just dissolve, just like race and everything else. That really, once the paradox being, once we celebrate our uniqueness enough, that's almost the birth of homogeny, because you kind of become one, a remembrance of one, but yet you're still yourself. So I guess it's like a divine dichotomy that we're chasing, We're trying to get to a point in which we're all so happy that each one of us is different, that we're all the same for being so, Which I guess is utopia, existing at the point of paradox, where your power is, right? That's where power has to lie, right? At the point of paradox. Because you see, you can't have one without the other. So in order for one thing to exist, the other must. So any opposing ideas must both simultaneously exist, even if they are diametrically opposed to one another. So where do you exist? In the middle of that. The eye of the storm, the point of paradox. It's got to be, right? That makes sense to me. We're all male and female, and these are just temporary roles we're playing here. So transgender people are just examples of those temporary roles. There is an idea that that's what Jesus Christ and the Mary of the Magdalene were teaching, as together these were one being, male and female, teaching that there is no separation. The separation is actually an illusion, And of course they were persecuted for it and all that. But it's like, hey, maybe the thing at the Olympics that happened, remember? that transgendered Last Supper or something. People really were upset about a transgendered Jesus, and I had no opinion on it at first, but then as I thought more on it, then wait, that kind of makes sense. It's kind of coming full circle where with the messages and all that. Of course, that's not the only thing Jesus was, preaching. Anyhow, I get an email this morning that says new post in your area. So I click on it. And here I see a post. It's a woman looking for a man who's not exceptionally hairy. Not into hairy guys. And I'm like, that is, you know how refreshing that is? I've said before on the show. I can't grow a beard, right? I keep a little goatee that I don't like. I really don't like it. I'd rather shave it. You see, back when I was 17, I got my labret pierced, the little spot under your lip. What a dumb fucking piercing, And my one buddy goes, "You're gonna have a little butthole in your chin for the rest of your life, dude." Like, yeah, he was spot on, fucking, because that's what it is. And that horrible piercing, you don't see even that many people with them really. And if you ever had it, you can't stop fucking with it. You're just constantly poking with your tongue and biting your lip. You look like a fucking nutball walking around with that thing. So, anyway, it lasted like 6 weeks. And then I had to take it out. And now, I had my eyebrow pierced too. That one I actually wanted to keep. I don't know what happened to that. I took the ball off and I just never put it back in. Healed up. See people my age that have shit like that, and I go, yeah, maybe I should. No, that's too midlife crisis. Anyway, wow, see, I go off the rails fast here, people, so just try and stay with me. So as I was saying, I can't grow a beard, so I keep a goatee because it hides the little butthole in my chin and my lip, and I can't just cover just the lip because then I'm not a soul patch guy. So that's why I look the way I look. But the point is, I don't grow a bunch of hair all over my body. I'm not hairless like a seal, But there are, people like that. Oh, look how smooth he is. And there are big hairy people. No, I'm just in the middle, like sporadically hairy, right? I find one of those long black hairs out of the back of my shoulder like once every 6 months or whatever it is, and you pluck that fucking thing out of there. And that's my level of hairiness. It's hard to find women that are into that. Like they want a guy who's just got like a little bit of hair on his chest and like maybe a little on the stomach. No, nothing else. No, I don't want anywhere else. Everything else should be like fuzz. Maybe some on the calves, the shins. The shins, I want hair on his thighs and shins a little bit. It's hard to find women like that, so that's what this post says. And an average penis length, this post says. Average size. It said average size, man. So if anything, any woman has ever used any word to describe me, it's average. So I got that nailed down, So I'm like, is this the woman of my dreams? You don't find women actively seeking these traits. I want an average guy. That's not very hairy shit. Like, wow, okay. So I responded to her. And, not long later, 30 minutes or something, I got a ding. And it's a message from this very nice, decent, seemingly decent dude. A guy named Eddie. I'm like, what the? I had to go back, I check. And it shows that the post that was in my area that I responded to was under Guys for Guys. Didn't show me that at the top when I first responded, So this was a man. And I told him, oh man, I'm sorry, dude. I'm like, this is, when, I was looking for a woman. He's like, and Guys for Guys? I'm like, no, man. And I told him, and he goes, well, he's like, there's no women on there, man. You're gonna get, it's just catfish. He's like, I'm like, hey, thanks for the warning. And I'm like, this guy seems like a nice dude. And then I was like, you know what? He probably is not a nice dude. He's looking for hairless, average young men. Like this is probably a sick pedophile. Guy said he was like, I don't know. So, that's my disappointment and my story for the morning. I woke up, but hey, maybe I found a nice girl who wants an average man, and I found an average man who wants a little boy. So, yeah. Another day. I'm not sure where this is going to fit into the show, but I had to jump in and record this because I thought of it, and that's kind of how I put the show together. I mentioned earlier on here, my daughter, being a little tomboyish and stuff. Well, now she's gotten more into boxing. Now, she was a black belt in Taekwondo already. So, she's had that training since she was 5. And there's been, that sport has been, part of her life. And then the fucking Jake Paul and Tyson fight, she's obsessed with this spectacle. But really, she was more impressed by the 2 women that fought, and which the Taylor fight, that was very good, And although I thought Serrano should have won, once she came back out with that forehead just blasted open, it was just like, nah, I'm going to keep going. I was like, this chick's got some grit. So anyway, though, here she is, 10 years old, this 10-year-old girl. And I just wanted to just mention this dynamic because this kind of goes together with the one thing I mentioned on the show about her and just all the gender stuff and and how my daughter is a little more tomboy side and stuff, and also goes along with my just pathetic nature, I guess you can call it. But I'm happy with myself. So, that's why I don't spiral into depressions over my dating and all the things that I guess I could be down about. And so here's an amusing little point that just kind of drives it all home. She, the 10-year-old girl, this is just take an overview of my house. This would be last night, Wednesday night. Take an overview of my house. Wednesday night, 9:00 p.m. My daughter is little 10-year-old girl in the bathroom, and she's watching boxing videos on her phone. Watching, just people pummeling each other. And she's like, yeah. Meanwhile, I am putting the birds to bed. And I realized that while I was putting the birds to bed. Now, if you don't know, you have pet birds. We have Smiley and Pickles, our 2 pet parakeets. The way you put them to sleep, you put a blanket over the cage, and or it's a little cover. So I'm putting this cover over the cage. And before I do, every night I talk to them. I say good night. But that's not. You want me to be serious on the show? I'm real, people. That's what I'm bringing to this show is 100% authenticity. No embarrassment, no shame, just me being me and being open and honest with you about how I actually am. I'm talking to these birds and I go, this is how I put them to bed. I say, oh, good night, Mr. Marshmallow Man. Oh, you're a pretty little Mr. Marshmallow Man, aren't you, Mr. Marshmallows? Oh, Mr. Marshmallows is a very cute little, pretty little baby bird. That's what I'm doing. So here's your view. There's the little 10-year-old girl is tougher than me in the bathroom, watching people fight it out, blood spraying, and you're a pretty little Mr. Marshmallow Man. What a pretty little Mr. Marshmallow Man. That's the gayest thing anyone could possibly say. I don't know how most people in my life, I don't question my sexuality. I can say these things because I'm very comfortable with myself, but I can only imagine that the perception, if anyone knows me and sees me, even if you know me closely, you're probably like, I think he might be gay. I mean, how could you not think that? Been single for 10 years, and this is the way I talk to my pet birds, like just a big fat sissy. Because I don't think I act effeminate, but the way I talk to small animals or to my kid, I don't know. So had to throw that in here. I don't know where it's gonna fit in the show or if it even makes it in. But I just thought that was an amusing little point that kind of puts together everything that that's going on in my life over here. I don't know why you would listen to that. What are you listening to right now? Come on, stop it. Shut this shit off. I gotta go. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the podcast here, people. All right? Subscribe. You're gonna miss more of this shit. You got to know what happens this week, what's going to happen going into next week. Come on, man. Don't miss out. I don't know. I love you. And I'll see you next week.
gosh damn.